Greetings, everybody. We are back around our phones and cameras and whatnot for another live stream shenanigans with everybody here. Today I was carrying my Rock Creek Chinese folder.
Very nice.
It is a funky one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind of Nestmucky, eh?
A little bit.
I'm not going to say that's the coolest folder in your collection, but for me, it's one of the coolest. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I was kicking around the house. I was playing with a goodie. It's the Pleroma.
Getting a little fancy today.
Yeah.
Pinky's up.
Well, Nigel's going funky. I might as well go funky. You know,
Fair.
worked out that way at least. Yeah.
I didn't go funky. I'm carrying the H&K Access made by Benchmade.
By any chance, does that have a deep carry?
It sure does.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's pretty fantastic.
Did you do Fisk's job and ask what the boys are carrying tonight as well while we're asking?
I didn't. Zinx, what are you carrying tonight, brother? I got to take the job back over. Mr. Fisk's going to be a little bit late.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
What
What are you carrying, Joe?
I'm carrying the subject of tonight's review, the ZT 0707.
Well, ain't that a quinky dink?
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Yeah, it's kicked the old favorite, the Spyderco native, out of my pocket, which was surprising. Yeah. I like it.
Zinx rocking. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Joe. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'm just babbling about how much I like it, waiting for Zinx to answer. But hey, he answered.
Fair enough. Yeah, he's carrying the Ace Biblio and the Spyderco Bow River, which both awesome options. What's going on, Darren? What are you carrying tonight, brother?
Hey, Darren. Yeah, my Bow River's over there somewhere.
Yeah, there's people watching us. Why does that feel weird all of a sudden? My first one.
Yeah, is this your first review? Jeez, man. Like,
Are you new here?
you're supposed to be running the show. I'm scared for the train wreck today.
Uh-huh. I mean, you should be scared every week. Let's be honest here.
Who says I haven't been?
I forgot to mention the emotional support poleaxe that we were talking about last week. I don't have it, but I did mention at the beginning of the week that I was just going to be rocking a big-ass Natchez Bowie for the whole nother episode.
Nice.
So I may or may not be holding this guy throughout this evening just because I have it on hand. And
It's a wicked
fair.
knife.
That's awesome.
Indeed.
It's funny, Darren's also carrying a fixed blade. He's carrying his fixed blade Adamas. And Justin's asking if we're scared of going live on time. We're keeping a streak going at this point. If we went on time, people wouldn't show up.
If you do something wrong 3 times in a row, it's a new technique.
I can't argue with that.
My other logic is when you go live right at 7:15, there's 0 viewers. It doesn't get your hopes up. When you've got 3 or 4 people already waiting to break the gates down and going live, it gets us active right off the bat. And that's a weak ass excuse, but you know, that's
That's
the
a
one I'm
weak
going
ass
with.
gate.
You know.
If 3 or 4 people can break it down,
Don't worry
just
about
4
it.
They
guys
got logs.
down the gate.
They got ways. There's ropes and pulleys and stuff going on. You don't even know.
Oh yeah,
Touche.
these are people
Touche.
with means, huh?
People of means. Darren would like to know where Professor Fuzzy Nuts is.
He's sleeping. I don't know if you can see him right there, being all cute.
Being all cute, asleep.
Yeah.
As fuzzy nuts tend to be.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Indeed. I forget what I was going to say.
Yay!
Excellent. We're off to a great start here, guys. Fantastic.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So a review, you say?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. Did Joe get some fancy pictures of the ZT?
I did. I've got a couple. Let's see. So, what made this knife a little bit more unique was the addition of the double detent system, which I couldn't really get a clear picture of, and I haven't disassembled this knife yet. But essentially, there's a little lever, kind of like a liner lock on the inside, on the opposite side of the frame, and that has a ball bearing attached, and that has its own detent hole. There is no detent hole on the side of the lock bar, which means that if you put pressure on the back end of the lock bar, you can still open the knife. Maybe not all the way if you're pressing very hard, but it definitely helps. What would that be? Accidental pinning, because that's been an issue, a known issue with knives like the Sinkovich.
What's their trademark term for it?
Tuned
detent. Yeah.
Which we're going to go into that on the review. But yeah, exactly how I feel about the tuned detent system,
so
for sure. So.
I agree that the name is misleading, but I also bought the knife relatively quickly after getting it in hand. On that note, since I probably have the higher score, do you want me to start?
Might as well. We can tear you apart for the rest of the night.
Sure.
Yeah.
I still think it was a pretty well built knife. Let's see here. Gotta make sure that everything will actually open when I want it to. Yeah, there we go.
Holy, look at this guy go with his score. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it.
So I gave it an 88 overall, the bare minimum for an A. Objectively, I gave it 8s across the board. Cost for materials, it's 20 CV, it's titanium, it's carbon fiber. There's a lot of internal millwork that made the tuned detent possible. There's extra effort that's put in, and I definitely appreciate it. The cost for fit and finish, an 8 again. I couldn't really find anything I disliked about the knife in terms of fit and finish. But there were a couple of very small nitpicks, like the edge wasn't totally evenly ground, but I mean, it's not CRK levels, right? Like, very few knife companies are going to be able to consistently do that. One little thing, this little corner in here, let's see if I'll use another ZT as a pointer, but that guy right there for you guys on the stream, and then I'll pop up a picture here for everyone watching. But this guy here, I'll circle it with my mouse. There's a corner right in here that I was worried was going to be a little bit sharp, and it's not. It's actually relatively comfortable in hand. Doesn't really dig in or anything. Cutting ability, 8. Ergonomics execution, 8. Lockup and actuation, 8. I think that it does a really admirable job in all of these categories for pretty obvious reasons. It's a relatively thin blade. It slices nicely. It's a very thin tip, but I mean, it's a slender, lightweight knife, so this isn't something I'm going to be plowing through a bunch of rough material anyway. I would have given it a 9 for lockup and actuation, but I think that people are kind of expecting this drop shutty stuff that you normally have with ball bearing flippers. This is not that knife. So, and this one's actually a little bit stiff too, but
that's what she said.
2. All right. Well, I think that the tuned detent system does what it's supposed to. It prevents you from. It makes it less likely you're going to pin the knife by pressing on the lock bar. It's less likely to happen. As far as personal, I gave it 9s and 10s. The 2 9s were for material choice and aesthetics. Didn't completely blow me away, but I'm like, wow, that's a cool looking knife, and wow, these are all materials I really love. But in the pocket clip is so deep. Like, it's completely ridiculous having this thing in pocket. It just vanishes. It's canted at an angle, so your hand's not going to hit that flipper, and even if it does, it's nicely rounded and bent the opposite way, so it doesn't catch on anything. In hand, this is a long, slender knife. I love it. There's no real hot spots, even off of the clip. No, it's awesome. Yeah, enthusiasm, it's a 10. I picked this up the first day, decided I wanted to buy it. Started putting money on it on the second day, and then on the third day I said, screw it, I'll just pay it off and take it home now, because I really want it. It's been a really long time since I've had a ZT just excite me that much. So, yeah, this thing is awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah. Are you done gushing? Are you done gushing there,
Yep.
Joe? Yeah.
Oh, I gotta, because I know it's all downhill from here.
There's a few things from chat that I gotta get to real quick here.
Yeah, for sure.
Darren's asking why he didn't see the poll this week. You missed it, sir. I don't know. It was there.
Because
Doug
you weren't
Martino.
paying enough attention.
Yeah. He's trying to blame me, and I mean, it would have been my fault if I hadn't done it, but I did do it. So it's your fault.
Meh.
Womp.
That's a bit of a weekend. That's a bit of a
Indeed.
weekend, but you know.
Also, Ben, what's going on, brother? How's it going?
Hey, man.
He's asking in chat who we're slagging on this week. Tonight, we're going to start on Joe.
Yep.
You're gonna
Sorry. We're going to continue on Joe.
I'm wondering if he was talking about knife fights or if he's just talking about the crowd in front of us right now. But
I gotcha.
They made a mention
Also,
about.
Darren's wondering if I dyed my hair. No, my hair is the same color it always is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit longer.
Is that the new conspiracy?
Starting to get to be winter time, so he doesn't have any light coming in his windows in the evening anymore.
Yeah, it's like pitch black out now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It sure is. Also, Darren claims that he voted Doug. You don't get to vote. It's not yours
Too
anymore.
late. You missed your opportunity.
Paying
Your
for
voice doesn't count.
Paying for Patreon only gets you so far, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't get you math. I'm not doing extra math.
it's one, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're gonna count it. I'm just saying that thing. I don't know.
Look,
Makes me think differently. That's
funny.
the numbers are really good, and you'll understand later as to what I'm talking about. Black Frost in chat, evening, sirs.
Yeah, Matt.
What did
So
Zing?
who's going next on this slag train?
Oh,
Well, Zink's ordered
You
something.
figured your confusion there, Paul?
sorry?
You caught up with your confusion there, Paul?
Yeah, I believe Zinks is saying that he ordered one of the 707s.
No. Ben was asking which one of us ordered the snow.
Oh.
Oh.
And Zink is claiming he did.
I'm going to claim the camera was in my way.
You should have ordered a 707.
Nigel keeps on cursing people, and apparently someone cursed us back. That's what we get, type of thing.
Yeah.
And well, on that note, because I forgot to do it earlier, I'm going to make sure everybody likes and subscribes, or else you will be cursed to always have your coat slip off of the hanger. It will never stay on the hanger. Always falling off.
That's
Like
rude.
and subscribe.
It's rude. Rude. Not
This is a lot of minor inconveniences that have built up over the last couple episodes.
yeah.
Is that what they
the
mean?
life's just a little more annoying.
Funny story, put my coat on a hanger one time, whole bunch of other winter coats on there, already overbearing, put the coat on the hanger, and the whole hanger just like collapsed with, I don't know, 15 people's coats on it.
Nice.
So that's a little more than slipping off of a hanger. It's
Did you just shrug and walk away?
but, no, the
Just
owner of
close
the
the door
house
to
was
the
right
closet
there
and-
and blamed me. And I was like, yeah, I did it, not the 15 other coats.
Yeah, I've just been
You
like,
told me to put mine too.
active dog, I don't know, and leave.
Anyway, yeah.
Put your coat back on, walk right out of the house.
Go ahead, Paul.
Aaron is threatening to not like and subscribe and unsub, just to see what happens.
You've heard what will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you really want that on your conscience?
Come on, man.
Think of the children. All right. Who next?
You're next, Paul. You like ZT more than the rest of us.
That's probably true.
It's true. It's totally true.
On that note, the 707 I gave an 80, which is a B. So not the A that Joe gave it, because that's insane.
That's insane.
Your score is not that different than mine.
Not a huge amount.
But not insane like yours.
88's up there. 88's throwing some 10s willy-nilly.
Nah.
Yeah, but on the personal side, it's allowed. I'll give it. But on that note, cost versus materials, I gave it a 7. Cost versus fit and finish, cutting ability, and ergonomic execution, I gave it 8s across the board. And then lockup and actuation, I also gave it a 7. And that's specifically because it doesn't have that drop shutty action that I want from a ZT. Like, there's a reason why I buy them, and that's my reason. Give it back.
Give back the drop.
That's what I'm saying. On the personal side, I gave it 8s and 9s across the board. Material choice and pocket ergos got 9s because the thing weighs almost as little as a friggin' bug out, and it's got a say titanium lock bar. Like, that's impressive. I should say lock side, not lock bar. And then I gave it 8s for aesthetic, ergonomic preference, and enthusiasm because it looks like a Sinkovich to me, and I was really excited thinking that it was one, and then it wasn't.
For reference, Paul,
I like Sinkovich.
You got your Sinkovich there too, but not totally dissimilar.
Main clue for that. What number is it?
Well, numbers aside, but visually, what does it look like?
Numbers aside,
it's all in that series. It's all based off of the 777.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. But it looks like a Sinkovich, and it makes me sad that it's not one.
Sinkoviches are always the 400 series of numbers, right?
I believe so.
True story. Yeah.
Apparently, Justin's cold because he can't feel his fingers while he's typing. You might have COVID.
I think
have they turned black?
Just the matrix coming through his computer.
Seems how he's not sure how he's typing with his fingers. I don't want to know the alternative.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Like a paintbrush.
All I can say, Justin, is put them in nature's pocket.
Good way to avoid frostbite, folks. Put your hands between your buttocks. That's nature's pocket.
Don't like that.
It'll help keep them warm.
Don't like that one bit.
Apparently, Ben needs a good blade that works wearing gloves. I don't think the 707 is it.
No, it certainly is not.
No. Somebody else should go, though. Because that's pretty much my score. Like, it's a pretty good knife.
Yeah.
But if I got one, I'd probably take that secondary detent out, which means that it wouldn't lock up at all closed because there's no detent ball on the other side.
Yep.
So I can't do it, which means I'm not going to do it.
Don't then.
You probably shouldn't do it then. Like, yeah, that's the best bet for sure.
Have you thought about not doing it?
I'm gonna try not doing it and see how that goes.
Oh, so I'm gonna take.
I'll go next. Yeah, I own a couple ZTs, so I'll go next.
Do it.
Okay.
I guess Nigel owns 1, 2, 7. I don't know. You own at least the 456. What else do you own for a ZT?
Where did he go? I don't know where it is.
I don't know.
I'll find it. You can keep talking.
All right. Yeah, I was up and down actually on this one. I scored it a 79, which is a B.
We're close.
I couldn't fault this knife objectively. Materials and cost, I actually wavered with Paul on the 7 thing. I gave it an 8 because realistically, titanium, carbon fiber, 20 CV, the work they've got to do to machine that. Oh, the 770. That's
yeah.
Speaking of this usable platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 700 series. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this guy but stretched out and skinnied.
Yeah. And there's been references to the bare knuckle platform, which I kind of even guessed before we could see this knife. So, And then cutting ability, it's pretty thin behind the edge. So I gave it a 9 because compared to a lot of other ZTs. Yeah. What are you shaking your head at, Paul?
It's just the chat is talking about floss dancing and stuff like that.
You know, we still haven't created that Patreon level, so
No.
Yep.
I forgot that was involved with the Patreon thing. I thought they were just talking about floss dancing just because.
No.
I'm gonna skim over it and keep on jabbing.
Do it.
The ergonomic execution, I gave it a 9. Like, it's a pretty neutral handle, and it comes up over and over again. And it doesn't matter if it's a medium or a double XL handle. Neutral handles seem to be the way to go, right? There's been a lot of similarities to a 940 as far as just like lightweight in the pocket, sits easy, good materials, similar price points, things like that, right? So. And then on the personal side of things, materials wise, I have to give it a 9. Like, it's got everything that I like in a knife for sure, right? So aesthetically, I like the 700 platform. I like this thin little guy. I like the fact that ZT's not going crazy over the top. Although I did hear some comments on some reviews and stuff like that saying they're shying away from the overbuilt military factor.
Shying away.
And they're focusing.
They've been doing that for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Like,
well, okay, so here's the thing, and they did some rebranding. It says "experience it" now on the box or something like that instead of like built like. Yeah. So even the rebranding aspect or whatever, right? But for this year, they came out with a 308. Like, that thing's a hand grenade. It's as obnoxious as a custom 301 is. Like, it's
pretty much.
And it's still running on bearings.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, pocket ergo is light as a feather. Joe dabbled on it with the pocket clip being like super minimal. Ergonomic reference, even. I can't argue with it. It was nice. Enthusiasm, I gave it a 4. It doesn't do it for me in the slightest. I can't fault this knife for anything except for I'm not excited about it as far as the platform goes. The Tuned Detent System is something that I like the idea behind it, but to come out with this evolutionary, we're going to put a spring ball with a detent on the opposite end.
Can I say that as a whole, I hope they don't include this on too many models going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it for what it is here. But I'm kind of with Paul as far as wanting the drop shutty, wanting the stupid smooth action.
You've got two detent balls pressing against the blade the whole time, and one is on a spring bar that you can't tune, even though they misleadingly say it's a tunable detent system.
So in the description, they specifically say, so we can tune the detent to perfection.
It enables us to fine-tune the detent.
Yeah, like the name implies us, but in the description, they're very specific about it. It's like, no, we've tuned the detent for you.
Leave it alone.
Sure. And what if I don't want to play by their tune, right? Maybe I want to drop D, tune it because I'm a lazy punk motherfucker, and I want my detent sloppy. Like, you can't tune me.
It's not quite the same because it's comparing a liner lock, a compression lock to a frame lock. So they're slightly different, but like the smock is drop shutty and it's got 2 detent balls. There's ways to do that.
Okay, but keep in mind the detent ball on the on the smock. When it's in the closed position, that thing actually engages with unless I'm completely on crack, and I might be, it still engages with the knife itself. Yeah, you can see it here when you move the smock's blade. You can see right next
to your scar.
I was just going to say right next to my scar. Anyway, when I push this in, you'll be able to see it move. I'm just trying to position it. So it pops up ever so slightly.
Baby.
Yeah.
So that was good.
The detent ball is actuated. The liner or the compression lock is actuated. On this guy, like there's no detent hole on this side of the knife.
It's the difference of working with an upside down liner lock via the compression lock and a frame lock. Like they're two different beasts. So
True.
They're trying to solve two different problems on that, and that's where they're getting that.
Of course, but there's still locks pushing from one side or.
Yeah, it's just they're trying to prevent you from, again, pinching the thing closed. Because if you have a really crisp, I know where this is going. If you got a really crisp hole in your blade, it's gonna seat really deeply, and if you press it even a little,
tell us about that crisp hole, Joe.
It's not gonna want to launch out of that crisp hole, that crisp hole.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
It's not for
Crisp?
everybody.
Why is it crisp?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, even if you look at the score that I threw up there, it's not for everybody. But there is not a single thing I can fault this knife, even aesthetically. I'm like, it's not a bad thing.
And I find it funny. You guys immediately gave me shit for your for my score, but so far the objective scores have been almost the same. In fact, you scored it more highly on the objective side than I did.
I scored it, and I think that's because you were trying to be more objective because you owned it. So you were getting, but if you look at the thinness behind the edge on that knife, that's probably one of the thinnest ZTs. And I own a 0609, and I
got calipers. Let's find out.
I calipers.
I don't because I'm not a nerd. But yeah.
So it's
over there.
So mine's 0.6 millimeters behind the edge, which is roughly 0.024 inches for anyone out there in Imperial land. That is pretty thin. It's definitely very thin for ZT. I would argue it's not like the most slicey thing, but it is a very thin blade stock. So even though it's not necessarily super, super, super thin behind the edge, it's so thin in stock. It's not pushing material very far apart. Whereas if you compare it to like the Saber grind or the Tonto on this ZT, this thing's ridiculous. It's a wedge.
It just shoves material out of the way.
Yeah.
I need to quick aside here just to say that Darren would like to ask Mr. Fuzzy Nuts a question.
Oh God.
The question is, what is best for cold fingers while playing shooter games?
I have my answer for Professor Fuzzy Nuts. It's take two of his brethren and let them rest on your hands.
Yes.
I was going to say, Professor Fuzzy Nuts doesn't have to worry about cold hands because he's Professor Fuzzy Nuts. He just puts his fuzzy little paws on his fuzzy little nuts.
Nature's pocket.
Yeah. Apparently Justin was complaining about his fingies getting cold and slow as soon as it gets below 10 degrees.
Yeah, that's called poor circulation, and it fucking sucks.
I'd like to reiterate the fact that all of a sudden the black cat of my household, Ebony, doesn't give two shits about because Joe owns
nobody cares.
Chinchilla. Like, no one.
Come on, man, chinchilla.
Welcome to chat, Mr. Fisk.
I bow down to the chinchilla.
Hey, Mr. Fisk.
Hey-o.
Mr. Fisk is trying to claim that nobody speaks for him, or nobody speaks for the professor. We just did.
Oh.
Well, sometimes.
Apparently, Dennis needs a little bit of emotional support.
I do. I'm waiting for Nigel's hate answer to come along because I'm thinking that Nigel probably beats me on the hate.
We're gonna get
surprise.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Zinx is saying so. Fuzzy nuts on your hands to warm them up is the answer.
Yep. Sure is.
Yeah. Nuts.
So yeah, on with the hate.
Yes.
Indeed.
Gave it a 76 for a B minus. Objective side, lots of 8s across the board. Gave it a 9 for the cutting ability. Gave it a 7 for the lockup and actuation because of how you guys have touched on the drop shuddy aspect of it and stuff like that. Really nicely made, clean build, stuff like that. Nothing wrong with it objectively. Personal side, enthusiasm is definitely where it tanked, as well as aesthetics. I find it too thin and stretched out for me. It just, I don't like how slim it is for that platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just doesn't do it for me. Pocket ergos, though, yes, definitely agree. It is awesome. I gave it a 9 for that. Because, it does fit in very, very nicely. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with all of your points. Even the lockup and actuation, to be honest.
Ergonomic preference, you gave a 7, and that's probably just because of how thin it is. It doesn't your wraparound, as it were, is
it's long enough for my hand, but it's too slim and doesn't fill my hand at all.
Not touching that one, but
nope.
Neither is my hand because it doesn't fill in.
Too slender. It's only hitting parts of his hand. It's not filling it out.
That would have been a spit take if I was going to drink some beer at that moment. Oh, that was
I wasted it.
No, that was hilarious.
I just wanted to quickly touch on, I forgot to mention it in the review earlier. The clip on your 707 is very similar in style to the my PPT.
Yeah.
Where it comes in over the top of the at the top of the scale.
Even the newer Penguin that we just got too, right?
Yeah.
And I actually watched some disassembly videos because I couldn't remember if you could use it left-handed, and you can.
Yes.
The milling on the internal carbon fiber. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Joe tried to get a picture of it. I didn't think to take one in, but on the inside for the clip, it has similar to the 2-hole setup, like these Benchmade clips, but a little wider out. So when it's on one side, only one of the holes is used, and that engages the barrel spacer. And the other side is actually nested in, so it seats itself in, so it's flush on the inside as well.
I don't know.
Really nice touch.
Really turning up. I couldn't get my camera to focus on that particular angle.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and as far as side by side with the Penguin, I actually got one here.
Well, the thing that I was going to say about the Penguin too, the Penguin screws, like the deep carry clip, even from Benchmade, the screws are where your pants will actually ride up. But with the PPT and the 707, the screws on the outside are on the inside of the scale. There's no screw to get hung up on. You don't have to worry about catching on anything.
It's a small luxury, but it's very much appreciated, especially when you've got this in your back pocket at the same time.
Yeah, it's not something you absolutely have to have, but it's nice.
You just narrowed the market down to you, Joe, by saying if you also happen to have this one at the same time you have this one.
Well, yeah. Does this look like a hard-use blade to you? I mean, look how thin that tip is. It's ridiculous. Compare that to the QSP Penguin. What's that?
Yeah, the QSP Penguin. Nice.
The Penguin. Oh, yeah. This thing's... Anyway, that's awesome. Yeah.
Mr. Fisk is saying that people tried to love the cat, but you couldn't be bothered, so it's all your fault, apparently.
Oh.
I blame the cat. I blame the cat.
So, just a little tidbit for all you chinchilla-loving folk out there. I don't know if you heard that earlier, but I turned away from the camera because Kirby screamed himself awake from his sleep. Chinchillas are they're so nervous. Apparently, they're such nervous animals that's a regular occurrence. He's been doing it a lot less since we first got him.
He has night terrors.
Night terrors!
Yeah.
Night terrors, ma'am.
Cobras!
He has night terrors.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
dude! If a bird goes in front of the window and creates a shadow on the wall, he will duck for cover. Like,
oh yeah, that's a predator coming for him. That's not surprising.
They're prey animals, but every once in a while, you just hear a shriek like a "Woo!" Oh,
that's amazing.
I think your chinchilla has sleep apnea.
I can't get masks that small. Don't tell me that. I gotta shave his little face.
CPAP.
Oh god. No.
Oh, God.
I can't afford this. I can't afford...
Anyway, on to the knife review.
No.
So yeah.
I'll do a few other things first. Ben is saying Dennis found a knife that would fit well in your hand while wearing gloves. In a knife fight, most definitely, the Natchez is the one to pick.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So
Right now on our shelf, I would pick something like a Siren. That thing is grippy as hell. In gloved hands. Would be a good one.
small
That's
bit of,
it.
small bit of trivia about the Natchez Bowie. That's one of the few knives that Lynn Thompson has actually had to make a PSA over. He was asking people to stop batoning with it because it's not a woods knife, it's a fighter.
Yeah,
The problem is there's
very much so.
a piece of twisted cord on the inside of that handle. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. You can chop wood all you want.
Anyway,
Don't chop playing cards, yeah.
Anyway.
The other thing that's being brought up in chat is Mr. Fisk wants me to quickly talk about the Anthem clip. And the fact that you can't, in fact, put a deep carry on the Anthem without modifying the clip. I did put a miniature bug-out clip on it with one screw and put it on my personal Instagram just to troll him because, I'm a jerk like that.
It's the thing to do.
And then he voted that he liked it. So, Pat,
just picking up Fisk by the scruff of his neck and throwing him right under that bus.
yep.
Oh, terrible.
Here, have that.
Now, for the record, we had a conversation about you screwing it this way and cross-drawing it off of your belt, right? Like, we had this conversation several months ago.
We did. And I think I had the same look on my face that I just did now, where it's just like...
Sometimes you got to clip a knife to your belt to put it tip down belt.
You know what I really want? I want some kind of leather sheath that goes on my belt horizontally.
No.
So I can put my knife in upside down and backwards, so it's really uncomfortable to grab and flick out.
Damn straight.
So dumb.
We're not going anywhere farther into that, but it's a terrible idea. Don't do it.
All I'll say is bat nips.
Good old bat nips.
Holy plastic molded bat nips, Batman.
All right, Mr. Fisk wants me to say it out loud. Yes, I was wrong. You were right.
Even when he had the clip there, Fisk, he was looking at it. He's like, I think I'm going to do it. I looked at it. I'm like, you're a fool. You're going to wreck stuff.
Yeah. It's the
No,
wrong
I'm
thing.
not going to wreck my knife. I'll just drill out the hole a little bit.
Yeah, you will.
Just use epoxy.
In my defense, I have seen on the internet people put those clips on that knife. And I don't often read captions, so I just assumed it was a direct flip over. And it was actually Mr. Fisk's knife that I saw a regular spoon clip on that gave me the inspiration in the first place. So it's your fault.
Spoon clips have a slightly different hole pattern than a 3-hole. A spoon clip from Spyderco does.
It's not. It was a benchmade spoon clip.
We are so
The
far away from
old
the review.
benchmade spoon clips.
We are far away from the review.
Indeed.
But that's okay. To bring us back around, Tuned Detent System.
Yeah.
We can end the first part on this. Yeah.
Let's bitch about it.
So, no, okay, we can bitch about it a little bit, but what I was going to say is this is not the first knife.
Okay, this is the first knife that made it to market.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the knife that did not make it to market?
Yep. More or less. It was was it actually a Sinkovich design? They were shoot.
You can type it in. It's there. It's the ZT0427. And if you type that in, it'll come up.
I want to see it.
It sure does.
Make it happen, Joe.
So this
no.
had it, and more or less they came up with a prototype and they showed it off, and the response to it was, "Fuck, that's ugly."
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
So
rather than spend money coming out with this crazy knife from Sinkovich, because it's a 400 design.
I'm just gonna say, you can buy it on AliExpress. You can buy knockoffs of an unreleased ZT. Is that ethical if you do that? Like, I don't think so. I think that's probably not the thing.
Nothing about AliExpress is very.
What if I really like the design though?
It's not.
But because it was a crazy premium material, and because it also had the Tuned Detent system, it was going to be a lot of money to make. And because the response was not that good when they came out with it, they decided to scrap it completely. So this is the first time that the Tuned Detent has come to market, but they tried to make it with that knife there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring up
Now
a picture here. God damn it. Damn it. Okay, there's the picture of the front of it and the back. That's actually, it's hideous, but I kind of dig it. Like, it just in a weird...
So here's the thing. Type in a 0 tolerance 850.
I was going to say it kind of looks like an 850.
That's a Sinkovich Rexford collaboration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that similar.
I would have been upset if it was drop shot.
Yeah.
So here's the other funny thing, because Sinkovich designed it on the 400 platform. It was going to be a 427, and it never came to be. When they basically re-released it with some tweaks from from Rexford to call it a collaboration, and came out with it as an 850, because those knives, like, there's totally. It's kind of funny that they were like, I don't even know if we want to put it under Sinkovich's number. If we put it under Rexford number, maybe it'll sell better, type of thing. And they deemed it as an 800, which, if you look at the rest of the 800s out there, look nothing like.
No, but they boringed up the 427.
Yes,
toned it down
a little bit. Yeah. Rexford reeled him in a little bit. It was like, whoa, you crazy asshole. Where are you going with that? Like,
how did you make a knife look like a vulture? Like, cartoonishly.
Yeah. What a strange thing.
Is it bad that I like it?
Yeah, it's bad that I like it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of it for me is it's like super symmetrical. Like, that's kind of cool.
But wait, there's more. There's more. It had a Tuned Detent system, so it's got a shitty action.
There it is. Yeah.
I would have liked it right up until I did that, and it didn't work, and I would have been like, nope, I'm out.
Where's
because the 850 has got some fantastic action.
Oh yeah.
On it.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah. Remind me, was that
Mr. Fisk?
Was that still ball bearings, or was that washers on the 850?
I believe it's bearing.
I think it was ball bearing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have to ask Morgan.
Yeah.
But anyway, that made me chuckle about the whole Tuned Detent system.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's not my tuning.
I was going to say,
God damn it.
Tuned,
Yeah.
but not for you.
If they had said tunable detent system, then I would have been like, dude, I can't tune it. But it's tuned. It's pre-done.
And then if you look at also in the advertisement marketing thing of it, they point towards the flipper tab as where this enables the Tuned Detent system. You're just like, you're opening the knife. You could just say you're opening the knife. But
On that note, should we go to break?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we've gotten the mandate from the government here. We've spent enough time for our first section that we need to take a break from everyone. Refill your drinks.
Take a break from everyone. Just the public.
We have to go wash our hands. There's a pandemic,
So yeah, go do what you need to do, and we will be back shortly with everyone. Catch you soon.